Hello one and all, welcome back to my channel, ForeverFabFour. Today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the Fender Custom Shop Limited Edition Rosewood Telecaster. This is a guitar that I've had in my collection for almost 2 years now. I acquired it in June of 2015, and it has been an absolute pleasure to own, and is probably, I might say, my favorite guitar in my collection. I mentioned in my guitar collection video that if my house was burning down, this might be the one that I grabbed to take out. And it truly is a special instrument with a lot of cool history, and just really, it's really neat and kind of an honor almost to own a custom shop product of this caliber. And I never thought I would be able to purchase one of these, and there's a whole story that many people asked that if I would share the story, how I acquired this for such a cheap price and things like that, because I know there's other people who want to try to get these. We will kind of cover that in a little while. Let's go ahead and start out with taking a look at this guitar. I'm not going to cover the dimensions or anything. If you want to know the fingerboard radius and the fret sizes and gauge and stuff like that, you can go to Fender Custom Shop, their website. The stats and stuff are still somewhere on the website. I'll try to put a link down in the description if you're curious about all that. But basically what this is the exact same guitar that George Harrison played on the Rooftop and in the later years of the Beatles. That was a gift to him from Fender. His actual guitar was made in late 1968, and he used it, like I said, most prominently on the Rooftop concert. It's kind of what it's famous for, but it was used in the Let It Be album and a few other things, and it is still in the Harrison collection today, along with many other of his guitars that he used during his time with the Beatles. And this guitar is not exactly that. The only difference that I know of between this guitar and the George Harrison remakes or the original is the pickups, and even that is basically exactly the same. And I say that because these have the limited edition ones, like the guitar you see in front of you. This guitar has the twisted tellies. They're hand wound by the custom shop, a single coil twisted telly pickups, and the reissues are supposed to have a more accurate hand wound 68 single coil, which is not a pickup I believe you can buy normally off the shelf. I think it was made specifically for that guitar, but I've heard people who have played both, being this guitar and the reissue George Harrison ones, are exactly the same pickup. They only have a different designation just because it was made for that limited batch. And really, that's the only reason the George Harrison ones are so freaking astronomical, is because they are limited to 100. I believe they only made 100 of them in total, and that bumped the price up to a whopping $12,500 for a George Harrison tribute Telecaster. And really, like I said, they're basically the same exact guitar. This is almost double what the one you see in front of you is price-wise, and I did not pay. I bought this one used, but yet again, we'll talk about that later. Wow, that has a very ugly back. That's hideous. Okay. Oh, and the neck plate. I forgot about that. The neck plate says limited edition instead of the Fender logo, but really that's not anything too big. So since I did mention the price just a moment ago, we will go ahead and discuss how I acquired this particular guitar, because I know that was something a lot of people had intrigue into, and how I got it for such a steal. I'm not going to tell you what I paid for it, but it was far below the value of it, and I honestly don't even know how I got it for such a steal. Basically, I bought it from a guy who imports Fender products and Gretsch products from Canada. He buys them in bulk, and most of what he buys are custom shop products. And I don't know how he gets them so cheap, probably because he buys them in bulk. Long story short, he bought a ton of custom shop products and was selling all of them off individually, and ran into some money issues and wanted to liquidate everything that he had. And I was fortunate enough to see this guitar just about 4 or 5 hours after it was posted on reverb.com, and I scooped it up immediately because of how cheap it was. I honestly was afraid that I was going to be sent a Chinese knockoff, or something that had a neck repair or whatever. And honestly, this guitar was brand freaking new. The cellophane was still on the pickguard. Everything that you see, all the goodies in the case are still in the protective wrapping. The warranty card had not even been sent in. In fact, this guitar had never been played. So really, I guess that's the whole story as to how I got it. Basically just luck. And honestly, I watched the internet all day long for deals and steals on many different items. There's a guitar that I think's hideous and I don't want it, but it's cheap enough for me to flip it. I will do so because there's money to be made. So yeah, that's the benefit to watching Reverb and websites like that. And honestly, if I wouldn't have bought this the day it was posted, I guarantee it would have been gone by the next couple of days. So before we move on to the sound clips, I want to cover two more topics, one of which being just how well this guitar plays, how enjoyable it is, and the sounds it makes compared to other Fender products and other guitars in general. Many of you who frequent this channel will know that I have not been the biggest fan of Fender products, specifically Stratocasters, but this Telecaster is to die for. It is one of my favorite guitars, as I mentioned earlier, and if someone generally asked the question, would you rather have a Les Paul or Telecaster, I would normally say a Les Paul, but if they said, would you rather have a Les Paul or this Telecaster, I would hands down take this one, because it doesn't play or really sound like other Telecasters. These twisted tele pickups are fantastic, and even though they are single coils, you can almost get a humbucker kind of sound out of them, and the range of tones that you get is also very versatile. The neck is super warm and super lovely, and you'll hear that in a second, but you can also get a lot of gain and a lot of distortion from the bridge pickup. Naturally, it is kind of twangy because it is a tele, but it's not as twangy as most teles. The other thing I want to say about the usability of this guitar is just how freaking amazing it is to play. I don't actually know who built this Telecaster in the custom shop. The name is on the inspection card, and I'll show that to you in a little while, but whoever built it did an amazing job. The neck is smooth as butter, and the bends are great. This guitar is just so enjoyable to play. I currently play, I believe, 10 through 46s, Diodarios. That's what I normally play on most of my guitars, are 10s. Some of them are 11s, but generally 10s is what I go for, because they really keep that nice tone, and they work really well on this guitar. The only other thing I want to cover is the accessories that come with this guitar before we move on to the sound clips. Alright, so taking a look now at this lovely, delicious G&G case. These are great cases with this nice black crushed mother of pearl interior. We will dive into the accessories that come with not only this guitar, but basically all the custom shop guitars. And some of them, depending on what kind of custom shop guitar it is, will have a different kind of strap or a different kind of cable or whatever, but they all come with accessories basically like this. So one thing I actually don't use, although it is really nice, is this custom shop strap. It's leather and like kind of Alcantara or micro suede back, and there's a nice little buckle and everything to adjust the length of it, but a really nice strap. And then it also comes with a Fender custom shop cable, which if you watch my channel, you might have known that I have 2 or 3 of these that I use all the time anyways. I am a firm believer that these cables are some of the best ones made in the price range. There are more expensive cables that probably are better, but these are not astronomically priced for how high quality they are. Now diving into what is actually inside the case. If we open it up here with a little snap, pull it up, you can see all the lovely goodies. Very first thing you can see, kind of sticks out to you because it is chrome, is the ashtray, which you can see a picture of it now on the Telecaster itself. And there are some photos of it on George Harrison's Telecaster, although I don't really play with it on, and he never really played with it on too much. At least I don't think so. So yeah, that's the ashtray. Next, the big yellow thing. This is the Fender Custom Shop, kind of just microfiber cleaning towel. I've also never used this because I have a lot of microfiber cloths. And it's nice to keep all this stuff intact and in the packing if I ever resell this, which I highly doubt I ever will, but if for some reason I get super broke and I need to. Next thing we'll take a look at is all of the paperwork and some other accessories that come in this little package here. So we have the owner's manual. I'll open it up for you and everything and dump it all out. They give you a sticker, Fender Custom Shop sticker, which I have not used and I don't plan to. The owner's manual, which is the same owner's manual for every Fender Custom Shop product. I actually think it's the same for every Fender product, not even Custom Shop, but yeah. It's a good owner's manual. It tells you everything you need to know if you don't already know how to restring and set up and things like that. But hopefully if you have a Custom Shop product, you already know how to do that. The other thing is the hang tag, which you can see here. And that's the guy who made my guitar, and it just looks like a giant M and maybe something else. So yeah, I don't know who that is, but if you know who it is, you can leave a comment. Now, last but not least is what I think is probably one of the coolest items that comes with any Custom Shop product. It is a little gimmicky, but it's still cool, and that is the Custom Shop toolkit. I will most likely never use it, but it is nice to have, and we will go ahead and take a look at that now. Sweet. All right, so we have a pair of wire cutters, which would mainly be used for clipping strings, I would assume. We have a screwdriver with a reversible bit, so we have a standard bit and a Phillips head bit. Allen keys, or very tiny little Allen tools, I guess, and those are to adjust. Actually, I think this one's a hex. This is a hex tool, and that is to adjust the saddles on the bridge. That also works very well for Stratocasters because it's interchangeable. We have a peg winder, which is very cheap and disgusting, but at least they give it to you. We have a lovely tool, which is actually the one thing I would use because I don't have one of these. All fanned out, you can see that it is for the action, so you can gauge the action all the way from 0.55 millimeters all the way down to, I think, 10, or actually, I take that back, point something, 0.05, which is insanely low. And this, I just realized, is kind of covered in oil. But anywho, it also has a little ruler here, and it folds away neatly, and we'll put that back. Right next to that, we have the tools to adjust the truss rod, a little traveling capo, and a ruler. The only other thing I didn't mention was this lovely little piece here, which can go into the screwdriver. And I don't know what you would use this for on a guitar or even on the case. It's far too large for any nuts or bolts or whatever on the guitar. So please leave a comment down in the comment box below if you know what this is for. That is the whole toolkit. Kind of gimmicky, but kind of sweet at the same time. And that is all of the accessories that comes with most Fender Custom Shop products, or at least this limited edition Rosewood Telecaster. So yeah, pretty sweet. Thanks, Fender. So with the sound clips finished, this concludes today's video of the Fender Custom Shop Limited Edition Rosewood Telecaster. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did go on to enjoy it, please do not forget to leave a like, comment your thoughts below, share the video, and of course subscribe for more weekly Beatles and guitar related content just like this. And with that out of the way, guys, like I said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay classy, everyone. Bye-bye.